Imagine paying rent on time, being a quiet tenant, never causing problems, only to have your landlord drag you to court again and again just to bleed you dry. Most people would give up. But I had one secret weapon: 2 years of insider knowledge about the exact tribunal they dragged me to. And when I finally snapped, I turned the tables in a way that left my landlord red-faced, humiliated, and out over $13,000. If you've ever been underestimated, disrespected, or just wanted to see justice served, smash that like button right now. And subscribe, because today's story is one of the most satisfying landlord revenge tales you'll ever hear. When I was 18, I worked security at something called the Rental Housing Tribunal. Think of it like a special courtroom, but instead of criminal cases, it handled landlord and tenant disputes. For 2 years, I sat in on hundreds of cases. I wasn't a lawyer, but I was the guy who made sure both sides had every piece of evidence, photocopying, checking, reading through every document. Over time, I learned everything: how adjudicators thought, the tiny mistakes lawyers made, which behaviors instantly turned the judge against you. By the time I left, I wasn't legally qualified, but I knew the system inside out. Fast forward almost a decade. I'd moved to a new town and rented a townhouse with a couple of roommates. Life was good, except for one minor problem. Rent was due on the 1st, but since only I could write checks and my roommates' paydays didn't always line up, we'd usually pay by the 3rd. No big deal, right? Our landlord didn't care. For a year, it worked fine. And then, something changed. Out of nowhere, we got slapped with a tribunal summons for late rent. The kicker? We had actually already paid that month. But now, every time we were even a day late, we had to pay the landlord's application fee, a petty little punishment that added up fast. It didn't stop there. The landlord also stopped doing maintenance. I'm not talking about tiny things like a squeaky door hinge. I'm talking about serious stuff. At one point, our water heater didn't work for 6 months. For a whole year, we didn't even have a fridge. Try living like that. We felt trapped. We were broke, overworked, and just trying to survive. Fighting back seemed impossible. So we endured, until everything fell apart. My roommates all moved out within a few months, and suddenly it was just me, staring down rent I couldn't afford alone. But for the first time in years, I had free time. And I remembered something: my time at the tribunal. I knew their playbook. I knew their weaknesses. And I realized I finally had the upper hand. So I stopped paying rent. At first, nothing happened. But then, after 2 months, the landlord finally filed a case. And this is where things got beautiful. I showed up with a meticulously prepared stack of evidence, 20 to 30 pages of documents, plus about 20 photographs. Every broken appliance, every ignored repair request, even proof of them entering the property without notice. And here's the best part. I waited until we were literally sitting in front of the adjudicator to hand over my evidence. In tribunal etiquette, you're supposed to give it to the other party beforehand. But I knew from experience, they'd give me leeway as a self-represented tenant. Meanwhile, the landlord's lawyers sputtered. "This is an ambush." The adjudicator wasn't impressed. He dismissed the landlord's case entirely. That was my petty revenge step 1. They had driven 3 hours, prepared nothing, and walked away humiliated. But I wasn't done. I filed my own case. And when the day came, I was ready. By then, I hadn't paid rent in 4 months. The landlord thought it was an easy win. It wasn't. The adjudicator flipped through my evidence slowly. Page after page, photo after photo. No fridge for a year. No hot water for months. Unsafe conditions. No notice before entering the home. Meanwhile, the landlord's defense? Well, they were late with rent. Not only did that argument fall flat, but it backfired. Because once the adjudicator realized we had been forced to pay the application fee 15 to 20 times for minor delays, he looked at them like they were parasites. Their lawyer tried talking over me. I almost spoke up out of instinct, but I remembered something from my security days. Adjudicators hate being interrupted. So I bit my tongue, forced the words back down, and let the silence hang. I could see it in the adjudicator's eyes: respect. Meanwhile, he looked at the landlord like he wanted to kick him out of the room. And then came the ruling. 9 months of free rent. Not only that, but the landlord was ordered to fix every single problem within the next month, or face even more penalties. I packed up and left at the end of those 9 months, completely rent-free. Because the landlord had never renewed the lease, I didn't even owe notice. All told, I walked away with about $13,000 in my pocket. And the image I'll never forget? My landlord's face, red as a tomato, practically shaking with rage as the ruling was read. Bye, Mark. That moment, watching him realize he had driven 3 hours just to get crushed with his own negligence, was pure satisfaction. Every ignored repair, every petty fee, every night I'd felt powerless, it all flipped in an instant. I didn't just win rent money. I won justice. The truth is, not every landlord is bad. I've seen plenty of good ones get burned by terrible tenants. But when someone abuses power, when they think you're helpless, there's nothing sweeter than showing them you're not. If this story gave you goosebumps, smash that like button right now. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? Don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable Reddit stories, because trust me, the next one is even crazier.